Watercooler, watercooler, watercooler.
Hey, brother. That's right. Matt Fondelier hosting the show again. We could have had Kalen host it. We were all talking, each person should host their own show. No, not yet, Kalen. It's not your time.
Maybe you did a good job. You did a good job last time. I thought you should do another one.
Thanks. Also, it just helps that I've got all the recording software and I can help host the show. That's really the real reason. You just heard his voice. Kalen Bean is joining as well.
What's going on?
Where is he?
Just doing a podcast. I think he's in Long Beach, California. Phantom voice. All right, good. People really need to know. It's really important to the average listener. And Phantom voice, you shall reveal thyself from Los Angeles, blurry Los Angeles. The background, of course, not him. The man himself, Gaaary. Patrick Smith.
What's up?
Got the key 3, baby. I forgot. Do we have a nickname for the three of us when the three of us do a show?
The key 3 was just always interchanging between.
Yeah.
I
think, you guys have like Daddy Radio. We have the
three wise men, and then but key 3 was always
the three wives men. That's right. We're the no, that's not.
No, that would be Chris.
That's you, me, and Chris.
All right. How about roomies? We've all been roomies.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, me and Matt have not been roomies.
All right. Well, you know what? God damn it. Well, this is the show where Gaary's
roommates.
Gaary's roommates. That sounds like a Nick Jr. show. But yeah, this is the show where 3 former Corolla Digital staff members get together, shoot the shit before Thanksgiving break. The other 2 hosts, they'll be on, I don't even know if Dawson's going to be here later this week, but the birthday boy, Chris Loxamana, he will be on our Patreon show. So with all respect to those guys, I just thought, let's just full steam ahead, baby. Right?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
The show must go on.
Do it.
So mentioned that Chris is the birthday boy, and I thought belated birthday. Well, let me get to that, Gaaary, because I have a story to share with both of you guys. I think you guys will enjoy, which is Friday evening, end of the night. My wife and I having some drinks. We're working on our Christmas lists, having a good old time. And then I see in our Facebook group a post from, I believe it was Sarah Jacobo, saying, happy birthday to my Scorpio brother, Chris. And I thought to myself, I used to book the flights for Corolla Digital. Chris's birthday, the 17th. Yeah, that sounds right. So I texted Chris, hey, Chris, happy birthday. And then I went back to my Facebook page. I scrolled down like 2 inches and then saw somebody commented underneath saying, isn't his birthday on the 19th? And then I went, of course, it's on the fucking 19th. So I immediately went back to my phone. I typed ... is what I would say if it was your birthday, which obviously it's not your birthday for 2 more days. But, just tell all the restaurants you can, get some free desserts. And he laughed. And I didn't think I needed to wish him a happy birthday again on the day itself. So,
well, Matt, I will say that if it'll make you feel any better, I learned that it was Chris's birthday by looking at his wife's Instagram stories, but a day late. I'm once again being felled by my long lost Corolla calendar, which had all of my good friends' birthday, not just Corolla friends, but all of my close friends' birthdays on them so that I would remember to say happy birthday to people. And I don't have that anymore. So I actually saw a post that was about Chris's birthday, but because there were only 4 candles in the cake that he was sitting in front of, and he was sitting with his son, Benny, I thought that it was Benny's 4-month birthday or something, and I just assumed that it wasn't a birthday. So it wasn't until today that I bounced around on Instagram and hit his wife's stories that I saw that it was in fact his birthday. So I called him and then texted him, and then he called me back and we got to chat for a minute. But I'd rather be 2 days early than 1 day late.
Yeah, it's a good place to be in. Got to say,
I actually saw Chris over the weekend. It was Island Blake's cousin's birthday, so we drove all the way to Encino, and we, Jenny and Chris and Benny were there. Yeah, it was a drive. And yeah, if I wish that I had known that it was his birthday, because I probably would have said just, oh, happy birthday, what are you doing tomorrow? But I had no idea. I didn't even know his birthday on his birthday. And so, yeah, needless to say, I missed it. But had I known, it would have been easy for me to just say, "Hey, happy birthday," while we were there. But no,
it is sort of.
So this is a story of all three of us being terrible friends.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
I think that Kalen's is the worst though, because he's practically family at this point. So that makes me feel a little better.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, we've all noticed that now that we have our phone numbers stored in contacts, nobody knows anybody's actual phone numbers. If I was forced at gunpoint to say what Gaary's phone number was, I would say you'd have to look at that one time where I almost revealed his phone number on air.
You pretty much did.
Yeah, you pretty much did. I mean, yeah, if I was forced to recite your phone number with a gun to my head, I would just say goodbye, cruel world. Because I have no freaking idea, nor do I need to. I know one person. I know 1, 2, 3, 4. I know 5 phone numbers by heart off the top of my head.
And 911 is probably one of those numbers.
I know 7 phone numbers off the top of my head if you include 911, 411. And then what's the one if you're supposed to dig? Is that 811? Maybe I know approaching 10 phone numbers.
I just know if I have an accidente, I need to call 444-444-444.
Yeah.
But
I think that's 7777777.
Different states, bro. It's the fours out here. It's the Quattros.
I only know a handful of phone numbers as well, and I recently got a new phone, but because it's just stupid, like I had one Apple ID, but then I updated like to a newer one a few years ago, so now like a couple of my different devices have been split between 2 different iCloud bullshits. Anyway, I bought this new phone, and I couldn't get it to transfer the data from my old phone, so I had to take it into the Apple store. He was like, it has to do with the software update, blah, 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 just do it. But while he did that, he was like, which iCloud account do you want to use? And I was like, I might as well just go with this new one. And he told me to transfer all the data. So I've had to manually put in all of my old contacts into my new contacts. And a couple of them, like I didn't get it right when I was doing it. So I've been getting a couple just random texts of just phone numbers. And then I go, oh, fuck, who is this? So then I have to go back to my old phone and then look up the number to see like, oh, do I actually know this person? And then if I do, I have to go back to the new phone and update the contact. It's been very shitty. Yeah.
That is my nightmare. Like that is seriously like that is my fucking nightmare. The amount of time that I've spent ensuring that does not happen to me. Having 2 Apple IDs is a fucking travesty.
And it's like I might as well. The guy was like, you might as well just start using the new one now because it's only going to get harder if you try and do it later. So I was like, yeah, you're right. And I was able to. The only things I needed were like the contacts, my notes because I take a lot of notes in my phone, and my photos. Everything else, I was like, I could just re-download the apps. That's all fine. And so I was able to get the notes over. The contacts, that one has been shitty, and I've had to like. I started going through all my contacts over the years, like. Is this new person? Are they worthy of getting into the new phone? And most people have not. So I've cut a lot of contacts out of my phone. A lot of people have been cut out, mostly because I just can't be bothered to put all those names into my new phone. But again, I'm on a really random text chain today about it. It seems like it has something to do with a celebrity. It's with someone that we used to know that does like PR, and I'm like. Who is this other number? Why am I on this text chain? They're talking about doing NBC interviews. I'm like, what is going on here?
You should have some fun with that, man.
I just haven't responded to any of it. And
dive in. What else you got to do?
Yeah, I was just gonna kind of leave it alone. It's super random, but because this is all happening, I like with my phone and getting this text chain. I don't know. Maybe I'll just text this person later. Be like, who's that other number? Why am I on this chain? So I ended up, what I did was I went through my messages first, my text messages, and that's all my contacts that I moved over. Instead of going like A to Z in my contacts list, I just went to my text messages and then went down to all my most recent text messages, and all those names got transferred. And yeah, I'm probably still missing a couple people, but I'll figure it out. You know, it'll figure out.
Just keep us posted on this compelling mystery. I don't know how I'm gonna even be able to wait 2 more days.
Just don't be like me and fuck up your iCloud and Apple accounts because it sucks really bad. So it's a warning to people out there not to be like me and I don't know, figure it out better than I did.
Well, I mentioned this to kind of bring this all full circle to what we've been talking about. I was saying that because the phone stores the contacts, we don't have to remember the phone numbers. And in a similar way, the Facebook holds everybody's birthdays for me.
No, it used to, but now it's not hyperbole when we say that the Facebook group for this show, facebook.com/group/BobaBoyArmy Worldwide LLC, go join if you're not a member already. If you're listening to this nonsense and you're not a member, you're doing it wrong. Yeah. But the now that the group has superseded Facebook for me, I don't go to regular Facebook. I don't want to see what's going on regular Facebook. I don't want to see people fighting over politics. So when you go directly to a group, which is what my Facebook bookmark does, it doesn't give you the birthdays. So that didn't save me.
I see.
But there was a time, yes, when Facebook was the way to go for birthdays. And I think I've told this story on the show before, but one year, I don't even know why, but one year as my birthday approached, I took my birthday off Facebook just to see who would remember my birthday and would text me. And I mean, unsurprisingly, no one did. And I ended up, a friend hit me up that day about something else and asked if I wanted to go to dinner. And I said yes. And we went out to dinner together. And then a few days later, I don't even know how, but he discovered that had been my birthday. And he called me very mad that I hadn't said anything. And I was like, well, whatever, man. Like, it's all good. Like, we went to Wood Ranch. Like, it was chill. He was pissed.
I had a similar thing when I first moved out here. I had a neighbor who became a friend of mine. Like, we went out to lunch and it happened to be on my birthday, but it was like the first time we had ever really hung out before. And there's just no way that I was going to tell him it was my birthday. I told the waitress, of course, to get the free dessert. I'm kidding. I agree with you, Gaaary. Sometimes you don't want to bring it up. You don't want to become a part of the conversation.
It's actually, I'm in a bit of a tough position right now because there is a chance that I may be traveling for my birthday this year, and I'm conflicted because the way I'm traveling is somebody who I know who works at a hotel has offered to get me a room for a few nights, and the way that it's shaking out, I may be arriving on my birthday, but this person's already hooked me up with the room, so I don't want to tell him it's my birthday because I don't want him to then feel like he needs to get me a gift or like take me out to dinner or something on top of it. But I also don't want him to discover later, maybe by listening to a podcast, I don't know why I'm telling this story, that it was in fact my birthday. So I don't know. It's a tough position. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
You should just be like, oh, here's all my information just in case you need it for when you're booking the room. Here's, and then you could just slip your birthday in there and then maybe he'll notice. He'll go, oh,
that's interesting. That's interesting, Kayla. The problem is he has all my info. So I don't know. I don't think birthday was in the mix when I went last time. This is a recurring visit. So,
well, let me ask you guys. We got two different directions we can go in. Direction one is where every fan would expect it to go, which is into our listener comments. But we could introduce our brand new segment. We have a name or an intro or anything at all like that yet. So we should do that then. Yeah,
let's do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Exciting.
So
I think that the name should be the Wayback Machine.
The Wayback Machine.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to get like a groovy 60s kind of Austin Powers vibe to this, Casey Peters, if you don't mind.
Thanks, Casey.
I like that we're just debuting bits and assigning theme music to our listeners. That's very typically us.
We get some artwork also going associated with this.
Hear that, Joe?
We don't need artwork for this seggies. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. So this is an idea that I had that Matt has helped me flesh out, and all the guys have chipped in a little bit as well. We talked about it in our last Malo Money meetup, but we were trying to think of a way to encourage people to go back and listen to the archive, listen to the old episodes, now they're all available and they're readily accessible. So what we were thinking was for those people who do want to do that, or maybe are just doing that of their own accord, we wanted to go ahead and start a segment where you can go back and listen to an old episode, and then you can go to our Facebook group and make a post, and you can include the episode number and a 60-second time code. For instance, 3845 to 3944, something under 60 seconds. And then we will play it live on the show, and all the guys will react to whatever that was and try to figure out if we remember it, what's funny about it. Boy, is it a deep groan that we said that back then and that hasn't aged well. But I think that there's a lot of opportunity for comedy to come out of this.
Absolutely. And for me, I'll just say it's really fun to listen back to what idiots we were all those years ago. So for this debut of it, I do in fact have a clip just under a minute long, as Gaaary instructed, from a conversation that we had. It's from episode 101, Watercooler 101, and that's all I'll say for now. Here we go.
So everyone had like quite a buzz going, walking back onto the boat, and then somebody, I don't know who, but somebody had the idea of asking, was your idea, Gaaary? Somebody asked the lifeguard if
I did not ask. I just decided before we got on the boat that was fucking going down.
Okay, so Gaaary said we got to go on the water slides because there's 2 water slides, technically 3, but technically 2 types of water slides on the cruise ship, and everybody's got tequila plus buzz going, and for about half an hour.
It's my favorite Eagles song, Tequila Plus.
Yeah. I would say for about half an hour, I felt like I was 10 years old at Raging Waters.
Well, we also stopped at the bar before we went to the water slide.
We were loaded up on
pina coladas and
drinks
shit.
and going down the slides, and fucking Ray literally running and pushing everybody out of the way. It was, I have not laughed that hard in a long time.
It felt like we were kids.
Well, first of all, I'll just say that I physically am taken back to that. That is such a good fucking memory, and that was so much fun. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't Ray nude by the end of it?
Yes,
he was indeed. And if you want to hear the whole story, you can listen to episode 101, the title of which is Cruise Recap, Water Slides, and Disney Parks. And to just give it a little more context, this was recorded after we came back from what I believe was our second cruise together. This was the same cruise that we did a live show from, which is actually episode 100 if you want to hear that. But Kaylin, your cigar party was a conversation of this episode 101. It's really all of us in full form, just breaking the fucking drink packages on this cruise ship. And that water slide moment was like the climax for me. Sorry, Gaaary.
If we did a live show, my memory suggests to me that might have been the first cruise, because didn't we learn from the mistake of doing the live show and then do the karaoke for the next one?
Oh, maybe you're right. That could very well.
And I don't
be
think
right.
Ray was invited back for the second cruise after the nudity. So I think that might have been the first. I think that might have been the first one.
I feel like for whatever reason, I wasn't on the very first cruise. I feel like I went on cruises 2 and 3.
Well, it was definitely a Mexico cruise, because part of the story in the episode, I don't want to give too much away, is that Kaylin very nearly killed himself drinking tap water in Mexico.
Yeah, I did go ask them for a glass of tap water. And
so that was definitely part of that episode.
So that would have been the...
But Kaylin, do you remember this water slide day?
Oh, absolutely. That's a very fond memory of mine. I think it was... we were coming back from whatever we were doing, and I thought I remember it being like kind of fairly cold out, and I think it was me and Mikey that saw the water slide, and it was kind of cold out, and we just noticed, oh, there's nobody on this water slide. Let's just have at this. And I think me and Mikey were the first ones to do it and start it up.
Gaaary, what do you have to say about this?
I'm not gonna. It's entirely possible that Kaylin and Mikey entered the boat at a different time, and that you and I and whoever we were with had decided we were going to the water slides, and by the time we got there, Kaylin and Mikey had already been there. I don't know, but I definitely do remember leading the charge with a small group that we were with to go to the water slides.
I could be mistaken, because I feel like there were a lot of different times on the boat where me and Mikey would just decide to do something very impulsively. He was I would be like, hey, let's go do this thing. And Mikey was always the one person that was like, yeah, fucking A, let's do it. I'm with you. So that could have been a number of different instances. But I do remember it building. There was nobody on that slide when we started. And by the end of that, 45 minutes, we had gotten everybody on the boat to there was lines to get on the slide after that. Because, we just started that up. And I just remember Ray going out naked. That was hilarious. And I remember the guy at the top of the water slide, just did not give a fuck at all.
He did not
we were like, can I go down on my stomach? Can I go down backwards 2 at a time? He was like, dude, just fucking go down the slide. He so didn't care whatever we did.
The idea of being I mean, close to blackout drunk going down water slides. Those are two different worlds, you know. Going down water slides, you do that as a kid. Getting blackout drunk with your buddies, you do that as an adult. But doing both together, what times? What a life,
Matt. Come on, how close were we? If we all remember,
we're pros.
7 years later,
we were pros.
We all remember it perfectly. We weren't close to blackout drunk. We were the appropriate amount of day drunk for being on a cruise, which is very drunk, but you know.
Yeah, we planned it out well. We knew there was going to be pretty much unlimited alcohol, so don't go too crazy too early, which I think we all stuck to pretty well for the most part.
I think I hit the limit on my drinks card a few times.
Well, let's not spoil any more. I just want to encourage people. Again, it's a fucking banger of an episode, 101, and that was the Wayback Machine.
The intro and outro can use some work, but I like the bit.
All right. Well, again, we are encouraging people to post in our Facebook group, and so maybe this is a good time to transition to our comments. What do you say?
I think so, buddy.
All right.
It's time for listener comments.
And all of these listener comments can be found at our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Bobo Boy Army Worldwide LLC. You answer a few questions and we might let you in. And
we let you in if you
we let you in. Again, it's really just to weed out the bots.
Yeah, we don't want political bots starting fights and stuff. Just answer the questions. We'll let you in.
We should consider updating the questions, by the way. I feel like they're for the amount of phases that
what are the questions at the moment?
I don't know. There's something about your alter ego. Like, we haven't brought up Insomniac
Insomniac's
forever,
one of the questions.
You know, it's crazy. It's stuff that people really don't know. We could do a whole new round, I think.
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's get into it here. So here's one related to one of our past episodes. Jordan Plummer says a bar that's called Boss's Office, which was a place that I went to, is a built-in excuse for being late, similar to a bar named The Gym. Sorry, I'm late, hun. Just had to stop by the boss's office. Now, I thought this was brilliant. Good. I had no idea that that's what it was.
It's good. It was lore at my college that the main bar, which is currently called Dirtbags, was previously, like in the 80s, called the U of A Library, because then when your parents got your credit card statements, it would say the U of A Library. And that way you could drink on your parents' credit cards and get away with it. I always thought that was fucking brilliant as well. Really good. That must have been before they had like time codes of when the thing was run, because who's at the library at 1:45 in the morning on Thursday?
I got to tell you, at my college, we had our, it basically was like an ID card that you would swipe, and it would be also what you'd use for the cafeteria, let's say. And It was essentially like a debit card. You'd put money in it and then you would just swipe the card. I think there was a certain amount of meals that came on the card, but the university had a relationship with several restaurants in the area where you could actually use like your stipend at their restaurant. And that was the greatest thing ever, because our senior year, we found an Italian restaurant that had a full bar, and we just charged basically everything to the university card that our parents were paying for. And, it was just like, they just assumed that we were eating at the commissary every day, but we were getting like luxurious Italian meals.
That's awesome.
And it was fucking incredible. I don't know if my school, Loyola Marymount, still does that, but goddamn, that was beautiful.
Yeah, we didn't have that, but we had like the food court, and within the food court there was like a Chick-fil-A, and there was like legit like actual places that you wanted to eat that you could use your meal plan at, which was really great.
All right, one more food related comment here. Somebody's asking for the name of the caviar company that has been mentioned many a time, and since New Year's and Christmas time is coming up, I do think it's worth another mention. MarshallbergFarm.com, and that's the Osetra Caviar Farm that's in North Carolina, and I featured it on many a Chez, and it is fucking delicious, and you should definitely support that business.
Now, true or false, Matt, you're going to clip that audio and send it to them, Matt, to send you more product.
Let me write down the time code right now. That is a fucking brilliant idea.
You didn't have that idea already. You didn't need me for that. Get out of here.
All right. Well, let me show you that I did it, because someone else, Matthew Catalan, excuse me, he commented, every holiday season we stray further from his light, and then posted a picture of Clamdy canes, which are the clam flavored candy canes. And
I haven't seen that.
First of all, ew. Second of all, save that shit for next week.
What is that?
Hold on. Let's now that you mentioned it, I should probably pull it up here.
I just enjoy my fucking Thanksgiving. Ew.
My point is that I'm not going to be clipping this audio to send to get free Clamdy canes.
Ugh.
You know?
No, nor should you. Ugh.
All right. Well, there's so many great food. This is a good thing about me doing a Chez Fond du Lac segment is that I come into the Facebook group and there's just all these incredible fucking food things. Somebody's posted about like a jalapeno stuffed bacon wrapped hot dog. But let's talk about this one from Eric Lepore. McClure's pickles were the unofficial pickle brand of the Bobo Boy Army for a while. However, they seem to have snubbed us despite our worldwide outreach. I'd like to suggest we rethink our pickle stance and make the switch to Grillo's pickles. They are even more delightful, and I feel that they will meet or even exceed the rigorous standards that we in the Army demand. And somebody even posted a Mandalorian, this is the way. I don't know.
I'm very sorry to inform you, but when we had our Daddy Radio meetup 2 or 3 weeks ago, I busted out some McClure's pickles and handed them all around, and everyone but the toddlers loved them. The sweet and spicy chips out there, Matt, and one of them was given to, I believe, Isla.
My daughter,
She was surprised, to say the least.
I was like, they're not that spicy. She won't care. And she loves pickles. She's just like her dad. She loves pickles. And I was like, Isla, you got to try. Like, this is the pickle. I forget how it came up in conversation. We started talking about McClure's, and Gaaary was like, I have them here. And I got so excited because, the problem with McClure's is they're just not around. And
you got to order them.
You got to order them online. And then it just, I'm not going to spend that much money on a fucking jar of pickles. Like,
here's the thing, though,
okay.
Kaylin.
Like, I'm not going to do it.
It's in your head, though, because it's not. Like, 2 of those jars is like $13, and they include the shipping. It's like it's not that much more. It's just a pain in the ass, so no one thinks about it.
It's just, and I like Clausen's. You just get them in the store, and they're so good anyway. But so I never see them around. I never order them, but I maintain that they're the sweet and spicy pickle like chips, like the slices. Those are like my favorite. I would eat an entire jar of those if I just had them in my house. And I didn't think they were that spicy, so I was like, "Here, let's try this." And she started eating it, and she liked it. She got the sweet, and then the spicy hit her all of a sudden. And I wouldn't say she started crying, but
she was visibly distressed.
She was very visibly, and so that.
And Kaylin, I could not agree with you more that the sweet and spicy chips are absolutely peak so pickle.
Good. Yeah,
I would encourage you to
those every day.
I would encourage you to order yourself some, or order them for family members for Christmas or something.
Yeah, Matt, take this time code down too. Clip this out, send it to McClure's. I want some sweet and spicy pickles.
Love it.
Yeah.
Where do you fall rather on not the pickled chip as in the thinly sliced actual slices of pickles that are in the jar, but the pickle flavored potato chip?
Love it.
No, thank you.
I'm down.
No.
I'm pretty much down with pickle flavored anything, I think. I mean, I've seen the pickle flavor candy canes before. I don't know if we're going that far, but there's a lot of pickle flavored stuff that I'm for sure going to try it. And I feel like most of the time I enjoy it, especially the chips. Love the
what's with the hate, Gaaary? Why don't you like the pickle chip?
Because I don't need the pickle. I don't need the pickle in forms outside of the pickle. The pickle comes in so many different forms as it is. You can get a spear, you can get a chip, you can get a whole
Say
pickle.
It like Amshek.
Spears, chips, dill, sweet and spicy.
And don't sleep on the cornichons either, because those are awesome. I love
so
those.
good.
Yeah,
those are good too.
Those are what I've been having.
Listen, I get it, Gaaary. It's essentially just adding unnecessary carbs to your pickle. But
it is.
It's
and
like
also
a dill chip. They're really good.
Also, it's just like I said. I mean, I started doing a damage check bit there, but there are so many different forms of pickle that I've got all the variety I need right there within the pickle. I don't need to be going outside to like chips and start to convey the pickle flavor into the greater world. Mm-hmm. No, baby, we got enough variety of the pickles right there on that aisle. Just stick to that aisle and have fun. Taste the rainbow.
More pickle, the better. More pickle, the better. It should be incorporated more often. I want it in my cocktails. I want it, fried and at the bar for appetizers. I think the more
I want it fried and at the bar for appetizers. That
I want pickles everywhere because I just love them so much.
A well done,
probably one of my favorite foods.
A properly done fried pickle is perhaps the best appetizer. It might be up there as the
and
best
a poorly
bar.
done one is very disappointing. On the
Agreed.
other end. Yeah, if they just try and fry like a whole spear, it's like you guys
don't do that. And also you have to fry it in such a way where it's going to stay intact. I hate it when I order fried pickles and half of them slip out of the fried stuff because it's not fried enough and it's not breaded enough. It's just come on, no, do the thing. We know how to do it right. Do it right.
Well, I want to read one more comment here, if I may, and it's mostly because I didn't get the joke, and I thought maybe you guys could help me out. It's from Peter Morrow. It says, "Good news, everyone. Apple is set to recognize RCS. Hashtag Tech Talk." Now, I know RCS is the Corolla bit, restless cock syndrome, but Tech Talk, legit. What is Peter Morrow talking about?
Okay, so I wasn't prepared for this, but I can still explain it. I don't know what RCS exactly stands for.
Restless cock syndrome.
Okay, that's not what he's talking. That's
not
the joke he's making.
Okay.
So RCS is a messaging standard that is much more like iMessage, where you can send reactions and stuff like that, right? And for the longest time, iMessage has been differentiated from Android phones. The whole blue versus green text thing, right? So Google and Android, which is a subsidiary of Google, has forever been encouraging Apple to adopt this standard of RCS. So as it currently stands, iPhones have two things. They have iMessages and then they have SMS messages, which go all the way back to when we were typing out fucking 3 hits of the number 2 button to get to a seat, right?
Yeah.
So it's just sort of an old standard, but that's what Apple has used because they've been putting all the features into iMessage. So Google and Android have used this RCS thing, which is far more mature and has a lot more of the interactivity that is like Apple. And they have for a long time said, Apple, if you will just adopt this RCS thing, we can be done with the green and blue bubbles thing forever. And Apple finally came out after years of them asking them to do this and said earlier this week or late last week, next year, the iPhone will adopt RCS. And the internet celebrated. It was a fucking moment of unification. And then 24 hours went by and Apple went, yeah, but you're still going to have green if you fucking send an RCS. So it's not really going to change anything.
All right. Well, what are the odds though that Corolla just happened to have stumbled onto that exact 3-letter acronym? Because that is a pretty incredible headline for any longtime Corolla fan. That's fucking amazing.
It
is. I just discovered that you could fucking unsend a text. That came in handy. Holy shit.
Yeah, but you can only do it for a short period of time. It's only for the first 2 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, you can edit text, but the whole undo send thing, that is a limited period of time. And that only applies to iPhone to iPhone. That's new this year with the newest software update. So within, I think the standard is 2 minutes. Within the first 2 minutes, you can undo send, but just pro tip, it will still say on both of your phones, Matt unsent a text.
Oh.
So if somebody glances at that, conversation, it's going to say that you unsent the text, and you may get someone being like, "What'd you unsend to me, bruh?"
Oh man, I'm actually sweating a little bit right now because I was like, that shit saved a business exchange, but now I'm realizing it. Maybe it didn't.
Oh, I don't think I've never seen that someone unsent a text and thought twice about it.
Yeah, screw that person. All right. Oh man. All right. I legitimately lost track of what I was going to do here. Oh yeah, that was Tech Talk, and that was listener comments. There'd be an outro if this was the Patreon.
You want a joke corner?
Oh hell yeah. Let's do it.
How is diarrhea related to your genetics? It runs in your genes.
Good.
I knew that was coming. Yeah, there you go.
They're not supposed to be good jokes.
They're supposed to be bad
the whole
jokes.
charm of tech talk.
All right. Well, I feel like we've done quite a bit of food talk already, which means we should switch it up a bit. Here we go.
We all want to know one thing. Your opinion's what we need. Kaylin, get on that mic.
Oh, Kaylin, flick the bean.
Respect all women.
I stumbled upon a new Gerard Butler movie last night on Hulu that I had never heard of before, that had a very high audience score and a very low critic score, and I had to immediately text Gaaary, go, Gaaary, what is this movie? Why have I never heard of it, and what's up with this score? So I was planning on watching it last night to do a review today, but I didn't. I had to save it. I had to save the movie. I couldn't get through all of it. So just so you know, there will be a future flicking about the Gerard Butler movie Kandahar on Hulu. That'll probably be for Patreon.
What's it called?
Kandahar.
Yeah.
Is that an Indian word?
No, it's a city in Afghanistan.
Oh, yeah. That was not bad.
Again, I'm excited to watch the rest of it. But for today, the movie that I'll be reviewing is No Hard Feelings, which is on Netflix. It's what's that?
Don't worry about it.
It's written and directed by Gene Stupnitsky. He also wrote and directed Good Boys. That was that kind of Seth Rogen movie from a few years ago.
That was funny.
Yeah,
it's
I
funny.
heard it was funny. I didn't see it. He's also done like 15 episodes of The Office and one of the creators of Jury Duty. The movie stars Jennifer Lawrence and Andrew Barth Feldman. Also, Matthew Broderick is in it. It's an hour and 43 minutes long. It cost $45 million to make. I didn't even know they still made comedies for $45 million. That's crazy. But it made $90 million.
This is like the first one that they like attempted to come back to like a big budgeted comedy movie.
Yeah. And let's be honest, $28 million of it went to fucking Jennifer Lawrence's paycheck, right? I mean, there's no way that the rest of that was in the movie.
She got paid quite a bit. It was a story.
I'm sure she did, yeah. It made $90 million, which I think after advertising means it kind of just broke even, but that's still pretty fucking good for a comedy in the theater to make $90 million, I feel like these days. 71% critics, 87% audience on Rotten Tomatoes. And it's about two helicopter parents agree to give their car to Jennifer Lawrence, who's about to lose her house, as long as she can bring their son out of his shell, quote unquote, which means just have sex with him. I saw a lot of commercials for this movie when it was in theaters. I feel like it was everywhere. And I didn't think it looked particularly funny. I wasn't really interested in seeing this movie. It just seemed very silly. I like Jennifer Lawrence, as much as the next person, but I don't know. I just didn't really see her in this comedic role in this comedy. I certainly was not going to go to the theater to see it. Once I saw it on Netflix, I was still like, nah, probably not going to watch that. But Amy and I were just like, we got to watch something. Let's just settle on it the other night. I was just searching forever. What movie are we going to watch? And so I finally just like, fuck it. I played that one. I was pretty sure, okay, we'll just turn it off after like 20, 30 minutes. But we sat through the whole movie in one sitting. It was a lot funnier than I thought it was going to be. I was actually very pleasantly surprised. It's still very silly. It's very predictable. But I laughed pretty good a couple times. This definitely got me like I didn't think it would. The guy that is acting alongside Jennifer Lawrence, Andrew Barth Feldman, he's pretty damn funny too. He just plays like a super socially awkward, like kind of borderline on the spectrum, just does not know. It's essentially Jennifer Lawrence is just throwing herself at this guy, trying to just have sex with him so she can get a car. And he just really doesn't know what to do with it. So he's pretty funny. Jennifer Lawrence, she's kind of doing her thing like she does, but again, funnier than I thought she'd be. And in one scene, she gets like full naked and starts like a fight with a bunch of people on a beach. And I was very surprised that scene happened. And
did you not know that was part of the movie?
What's the time code on that? Come on, Kaylin. What kind of movie review is this?
I did not know that was going to happen. So I was very surprised. Then I was like, oh, good for her. That was pretty damn funny. you know, it's not one of those, oh my God, you have to go see this movie. It's so good to see it as soon as possible.
Sure sounds like it is to me.
Gaaary, have you not seen this yet?
I've started it, and the first 2 minutes didn't get me, and I moved on. I don't know why.
But now you've heard a reason to stay
No,
around, so I'm understanding.
I had
Have you
always
seen it,
planned
Matt?
to go back. I had always planned to go back.
I not only saw this movie, I sought this movie out, and by that I mean I paid for it on a digital rental.
Oh, really?
And I fucking loved it. And I told Chris the same thing. Chris watched it and reported back he didn't like it.
Really?
He's like, I thought it was pretty bleh. And he's not here to defend that horrible take. But we'll get that, I'm assuming, later this week. I thought it was fucking great. So
how have you not told me that it's must see, Matt? What's up with that?
I don't know why. I think I talked to Chris about it. This was well before it was on Netflix, honestly. So
okay.
I don't think that
I just didn't even think about it anymore. But it's great. It might be on my top 10. Not that it's like such a great comedy, but there just aren't movies like this anymore. And like Kaelin's saying, I thought it was fucking hilarious the whole time. That other guy, he was great.
Yeah, he's really good. And yeah, I wouldn't say it's a must see but again, like you said, they don't really make comedies like this anymore, I guess, do they?
Well, and then they tried to make another one and with a comedian who I really like. I won't shit all over it, but it did not do well. So there's probably not going to be a lot of appetite for comedies.
Yeah,
it's doing really well on Netflix, and that's where I watched it. I admit that I'm part of the problem because I did not go to the theater and give them box office money for it, but I watched it on Netflix and I thought it was better than I expected.
I think I might have started The Machine, but I just have not really watched it. And we're gonna dance around it. That's the movie, The Machine.
That's the movie.
But again,
it's good. It's good. That's not. I doubt the way you guys are talking about it. The movie we're actually reviewing is better, but The Machine is a perfectly serviceable and funny comedy movie.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I should probably go back and give it another chance soon. But no hard feelings. Again, I wouldn't say it's a must-see comedy, but it is funny. It's silly. It's it's funny and cute and just really easy to watch. If anything, definitely not a bad movie. If you just want something light and fun, and especially if you're just sick of like scrolling through movie after movie, you just can't find something like to decide on. You could do a lot worse than this movie. I was pleasantly surprised. I laughed. I thought it was pretty good. Flickable, of course. I gave it 6.7 out of 10.
Nice. There would be an outro again. If you listen to Patreon, it's a hell of an outro. I feel like it's pretty critical to that segment. In fact, I want to ask you guys a question that is actually a little bit tech talk. It's a little bit flicking the bean, but mostly it's the kind of topic that Dawson would just completely fucking check out on. And so
save
the
it
fact,
until he's here.
Maybe I should say it. No. It's pretty much on top of what we're discussing right now. And I just feel like it's the kind of thing Dawson isn't going to give a fuck anyway. And that is this. Netflix is now showing HBO shows.
Correct.
What do you guys think about that? Because it's kind of blowing my mind. As HBO has become Max, and HBO, I mean, obviously in the new year, there's going to be shows like True Detective and the House of Dragons. They just, because of the strikes and stuff, a lot of their content from this year got pushed to next year. But the fact that there's really not a lot happening on HBO at the moment, and then knowing that they're just selling their content for Netflix to play for people, I think this is fucking crazy. What do you guys think about that?
First of all, let's be clear. They're licensing it. They're not selling it. So Ballers will go away from Netflix eventually. And you're not seeing the real tentpoles show up on Netflix. You're not seeing the Successions or the House of Dragons or the Game of Thrones. None of that showing up on Netflix. So
this is like a legacy show on there, though. The one that caught my eye was 6 Feet Under, which I know not a hit anymore, but like that was an incredible show. Like that's Sopranos level good.
It's basically a business decision where they're realizing that they can make money off of these shows that are just now long since out of the zeitgeist. And they're also using it as sort of an advertising thing. So it's like they think that by getting exposure on Netflix, it's going to drive people back over to their service. Like, for instance, a similar thing happened. I'm sure you've heard about the Suits phenomenon. The Suits is the number one stream show all of like the summer and the end of the strike. But what is often not as publicized is that Suits is not only available on Netflix, it's also available on the home of the place that owns the content, which I believe is Peacock.
It was on USA Today.
It was on USA, but it's owned by the parent company of that is their streaming service is Peacock. And what most people don't know, and I in fact didn't know, I'm one of the idiots who binged all of Suits over the course of the strike because I just didn't have anything to watch and it was super easy to have on in the background. I didn't learn until later that as a result of these kinds of business deals that they're doing, there's actually a 9th season of Suits that is not on Netflix. So it only exists on the streaming service of the company that owns all that content, presumably because they wanted people who were going to binge it on Netflix to then go back to their service and subscribe so that they could get that last season that's outstanding. So it's just really a business thing where these companies are experimenting with trying to make money off old content and trying to convert subscribers over to their own services.
Kaylin, will you ever put on an HBO show on the Netflix app and show your children?
I would probably be more likely to watch, like, I don't know why, but like a 6 Feet Under. I've heard that is a fantastic show. I have never watched a second of it, but I saw it on Netflix and I was like, I for whatever reason was more inclined to play it on Netflix when I saw it there. I didn't. I might still, but I was more inclined to play it on Netflix than I'm very well aware of the show. I never thought like, I'm going to go to HBO, look up 6 Feet Under and play it. But I saw it on Netflix. I was like, hey, maybe I should just check it out for the first time now that it's here. So I don't mind. It's fine.
Well, you and anyone who's listening absolutely should. That is
I mentioned casually in passing that I had not seen that show, and somebody physically grabbed me by the shoulders so that they had my full attention, and they like implored me to go and watch that show. I've never seen an episode.
What I will say about the show is that
are you more likely to watch it now that it's on Netflix?
I mean, I feel like when Mike Lynch begged me to watch that show, and I just completely ignored him. I feel like now if I watch it, it's an insult to him. So
it starts out as more of a dark comedy, and as it goes on, it becomes a lot more dramatic. And I would say the final seasons the final season itself it gets pretty heavy. I mean, the whole show is about a family that owns a funeral home. So those themes of death and life are all kind of part of the show. But the early seasons are unbelievably funny and unique and twisted and weird. Gaaary, I'm not sure if it's necessarily for you, but I feel like Kaylin would actually like it quite a bit. But it does get a little heavy at the end, but it's earned. It's really well earned, and it's a great ending.
I got a couple movies to watch first, but maybe I'll dive.
Yes, you do. You're welcome, sir.
Well, listen,
Kaylin came to me and asked me about Kandahar, and I said, thank you very much. I've been waiting for that to show up on streaming. And he expressed to me that he loves a certain kind of movie. And I said, well, sir, if you like that kind of movie, have you seen this film? And Kaylin stopped answering me. We've been going back and forth on text. Like, clearly we're both sitting there with our phones, just waiting, watching the little bubble. But then there was like a 5-minute lull. And then Kaylin came back and was like, I have not seen that movie, but I will be seeing that movie. Fuck yeah.
I had to research it. I had to pull up all the stats. And again, like Kandahar, Gerard Butler, low critic, high audience. Those are awesome movies. Those are just great movies. Low critic, high audience.
You go ahead and get through your list, and then I've got more for you, my friend.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Gerard Butler, if you're not subscribed to our Patreon movie night movie club WC tier, you could hear us talking about a movie called The Next 3 Days, which
for the record, it does not have Gerard Butler in it.
Dawson thought it did, but it is Russell Crowe. It's a terrible movie. But we had a lot of fun talking about it. And here's the difference between the old format and the new one. The old one, you would have had to suffer through that movie with us in real time. And we would have gotten an hour into it, and it would have just, I don't know what any of us would have said.
There's still another 2 hours left in this.
Yeah, it would have been real bad. But now we've done it in such a way where you don't really need to have even seen the movie. You could just hear us dunking on it for fucking an hour and a half or however long it was. Maybe it was only an hour. But
thinking back on it, I was
a lot of
just
fun.
laughing to myself at how funny it was that not one of the 5 of us could piece together the exact timeline of the movie when we started the show. Like, no, this happened first. No, that happened. Like, we all just watched this movie. We have no idea like what the timeline was or what happened in it.
Well, speaking of timeline, Gary, I know you have to hit the road, but do you mind if I do a Chez before you get in the car? Okay, cool.
I believe I've gotten a few more work assignments while we've been sitting here, so I don't think I'm hitting anything. Take your time.
Great.
Oh, no.
What type of foods might we hear of today? What might be the price? What might be the venue? So let's find out. It's time for Gaaary to say, hey, Matt.
What's on the menu?
Hey, thanks for doing it on time this time. I'm glad we actually have the songs playing in real time. It helps. So
I'm glad that my being
that made me laugh so hard. I texted you that clip later in the day or the following day. Oh, good times. Well, listen, I know Thanksgiving's on the horizon, but let me tell you something. We're not going to talk about Thanksgiving right now because we do a second show every week. And this week on Patreon, we'll get into some Thanksgiving shit. So throw us $5. Hear the Thanksgiving content then. In the meantime,
and outros.
And the outros.
Outros.
God, we need those. God, we need those. You're lucky we even play an outro on the show. We could just say bye and then just not even.
That's Matt, now you're thinking. That's 40 chess. Should we start withholding the show outro?
Just start withholding intros too. Let's just do it, baby. But no, I want to share with you guys today a tale of 2 burgers. Because I have discovered near where I work, there are 2 places that share the same parking lot and they share the same kind of outdoor seating area. I mean, I think it's maybe pretty clear where you would sit for which one, but it's all open. It's just all together in the same area. And that is a place called Better Half and a place called The Holdout. And they're both a little different, but they both have a burger, and I have officially tried both. Yes,
based
Gaaary.
on the name, I'm gonna go with The Holdout because Better Half makes me think that half of that burger is not going to be very good.
Great call. That's hilarious.
Are these both burger centric places? You just phrased it very weird in that you said they both have burgers like on the menu. Like,
I'm glad you mentioned that because I'll give you now the full vibe of these places. No, to answer your question, they are not burger-centric places.
Okay.
Better Half is a coffee and cocktail bar, but they have a menu of a bunch of different sandwiches and sides and whatnot. And The Holdout is a brewery. They have a ton of different, beers that they make in the giant fucking silos, but they also have a menu of burgers and bar snacks and whatnot. So both burgers have American cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, and onion. And that's about where they stop. Because the Better Half burger is sort of like a thicker patty. It's on a brioche bun. And they have what they describe as their Dijonnaise, which is sort of like a spicy mustard sauce. And The Holdout, they do a smash burger. So it's not a thick burger. It's way, way flatter. And they even do like a double burger. And it's on a sesame seed bun. And instead of the Dijonnaise, they do yellow mustard and special sauce. So The Holdout is essentially trying to do the In-N-Out burger. They're trying to do the double-double, except there's a sesame seed bun. Versus the Better Half is doing more of your, like, what they used to call the $6 burger at Carl's Jr. It's like, the meatier, thicker steakhouse kind of burger.
Dijon and mayonnaise on a burger. That's a weird choice, right?
So am I the only one going? Up your nose a little bit?
Yeah, maybe put that on like a pretzel or a hot dog, but I would not think of that as the go-to on a hamburger. Dijon mustard and mayonnaise. I don't.
Yeah, but Kaylin, I'm with you, but I have the same problem with the other one. The other one does secret sauce and yellow mustard.
That's true, but it does sound better, but the yellow mustard is throwing me off on.
That's what I'm saying. A smash burger should just be secret sauce.
Right? Yeah.
I think the yellow mustard is almost the ode to the In-N-Out, where they do like the mustard fried burger.
Sometimes, only if it's animal style.
Yeah,
but that's part of it, though. It is a little bit different.
Is the mustard on the bun, or is it cooked on the burger is cooked?
It's on the burger. It's on the bun rather, not the way that they do it on In-N-Out. It is used like a condiment.
And get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I don't love it.
That's not an ode to anyone. That's an ode to lunacy.
Well, let me tell you guys, the better half, again, the coffee cocktail, the thicker brioche bun, it's a damn good burger, but it's fine. If I'm going to go to that parking lot and I'm going to go sit in that outdoor seating, I'm going to go to the Holdout every time, because I got to tell you, it was like an In-N-Out burger plus, like Disney Plus. It was like In-N-Out style, but elevated a little bit. Like it was the first burger since In-N-Out to get that melty American cheese kind of aspect to the burger. I'm telling you, I was blown away with how good it was. It's in the top 3 burgers that I've had in Austin. I'm not going to say in my life, but in Austin, I've had a lot of burgers out here. It was fucking incredible. And I've since gone back there. They also have a chicken bacon ranch burger where they basically do ground chicken as a smash burger with, again, thick bacon, ranch, lettuce, tomato, onion. Another just incredible burger. So I'm giving my highest recommendations to the Holdout Brewery. And
how are the fries?
Well, I'm glad you said that, because that one thing I'm going to say about both of these places and a lot of places in general is I think this is some fucking bullshit to make me pay for fries. If I'm going to spend between $15 and $18 on a hamburger, that shit needs to come with fries. It's so dumb to make me spend like $6 more to get
a
huge portion of fries that I'm never going to eat, especially like, during the day, like a businessman special. Like, it's an extra $1 to you guys. Give me some fucking curly fries. What's up?
I could not agree more, Matt. And if you need to adjust the price of the burger, then do it. Kaylin, you've been to a place that's right by my house where the first time I tried it, right when they opened, they said all the burgers come with a small portion of fries. And I said, okay. And it was not a lot of fries, but it was enough for one person to eat with their burger and feel satisfied. The next time I went back, Matt's exactly right. And he nailed the price too. A side of fries, which is... And Matt, this is even more egregious because it's not a giant side. It's like a personal size, maybe 1.5 personal size allotment, was $6. And it's like, come on, man, $19 for the burger because I added bacon. And then now it's like, it ends up being $31 after I tax and tip you. Like, what the fuck?
Plus, in this particular place, it's also a beer brewery. So like, you're going to drop another like $6 or $7 on the beer. There's huge profit margins on that kind of stuff too. Like, just throw in the fucking fries, especially if it's like not a family.
You might as well just do, like you said, just a small portion, just a little bit of thrown in. If you got a group of people, then you can order the separate larger basket. That's more
that's fine.
But, that's no good.
And again, I can't really blame this particular place because it is just sort of like a pandemic across this country of these types of restaurants that think that we all need to pay extra for the fries. Like, again, we need to adjust that pricing. But just going to say, the Holdout Smash Burger, it really was an In-N-Out style, but it was like a kind of a little bit elevated, like my voice just then. Kind of it goes up a little bit. And that's what's on the menu.
All right. So real fast, because you put so much In-N-Out emphasis on that, I just want to bring up something that I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard of before. We're all aware of the In-N-Out secret menu, right? And all the various things that you can do. And there are things that are not necessarily secret menu that you can, just learn that you're able to ask for. And I heard a new one for the first time in about 15 years the other day. My friend was in California. Whatever, he doesn't live in California, but he was in California, and he went to In-N-Out with a coworker who had apparently previously worked at In-N-Out, and this gentleman ordered a double with cold cheese. Did you know you can even do that?
Interesting.
I did not know
I've
that.
Never heard of that.
Neither have I, and I was intrigued. And apparently, like, this guy, is a former In-N-Out employee, so he's probably tried all the different variations, and he had some argument about how that makes it better. And I have been intrigued ever since. I probably will never try it, but
I will. I'll try it on my next visit.
All right.
I'll report back, dude.
Hell
Just go right now.
I'm now I couldn't be happier that I brought this up. Fucking hey, Kaylin. Do it. Do the Lord's work.
Bring me a new In-N-Out substitution or secret menu item, whatever it is. Like, I'm like, all right, well, that's what I'm getting next time.
I got to say, I recently, because there is an In-N-Out here in Austin, and we still frequent it because there's just nothing quite like the taste of home. But I love that place too. We mix it all in. And that's P. Terry's, by the way, also in that top 3 Austin burgers. But what I was going to say is that not too long ago, I got my usual double animal style order, and they put the hot peppers in, the banana peppers, on accident.
Chopped chilies? Oh.
I did not, but it just kind of came on there.
Oh,
it was not for me, and I love chopped chilies, but it just took away from the In-N-Out flavor. It was like
I
too
actually
much.
agree. It's too much. I don't get the chopped chilies I have before. But I get the side, just chilies on the side, and then I can enjoy the burger, and then one
snort
out of
the chilies.
Like Dawson's friend, I cut him up and snort them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the chopped chilies either. Although, yeah, they're just a little too spicy. So I just get them on the side. Then you can control how much you want.
There you go. Well, we've reached the hour mark, so I feel like it's a good time to wrap it up. And again, I'll just get my plug in first, which is to say, please check out our Patreon show, because if you like the show and you made it this far, you're only listening to half of it. More of what you love. Come on. And also, I'm just realizing it's the holiday season. We should once again announce our annual charity drive of giving your child a subscription
or significant other,
a 1-year membership to Patreon, and then videotaping their reaction. We have had fans do this in the past. It brings a smile to all of our faces, although not their children's faces. But it's like a Jimmy Kimmel candy thing. It's our version of it, but it really does work, and it helps us out.
And by the way, let's not limit it to children or significant others. Do it to a coworker.
Yeah.
I mean, do it to, your boss. Do it to your gardener. Do it to your housekeeper. Do it to anyone. Just giving the gift of Patreon Watercooler to somebody who has no idea who we are or what we do is endlessly fucking funny.
It's great. And again, we are going to do another episode before the Thanksgiving holiday. So we'll talk turkey, literally, and we'll have the birthday boy, our esteemed leader, Chris Loxamana. I'm not sure if Dawson will be here, but Chris will definitely be on the show. Gaaary, what do you got to plug?
So I will double down on the Patreon, but we've talked about quite a bit, patreon.com/watercooler. And then I'm also involved in a new podcast that just launched called Wriggles Picks. It's available wherever you get podcasts. There's a YouTube channel. So please go subscribe, and check that out to hear me being silly over there. It's a fun show.
Kalen, what you got?
Well, it's Thanksgiving coming up, and I'm not going to be able to plug on the Patreon. So I just want to give a shout out, as I do, to stovetop stuffing. A lot of people like to fuck around, and I don't understand why, when stovetop stuffing is just so good. So I just wanted to say a big thank you to stovetop stuffing. And Kandahar is available on Hulu. Gerard Butler, it's I think it's either low or high 80s audience score. I'm going to be reviewing that on Patreon. So go ahead and watch
that's Candy Jar? Is that what that's called?
Kandahar.
Kaylin, I saw something on Instagram the other day, but I don't know how much you check your Instagram, so I didn't send it to you, but it made me think of you. Somebody took stovetop stuffing, poured it out into a pan, then took tortillas, dipped it in a little egg wash, and then dipped it in the stovetop stuffing, and then let it dry. And he made a taco shell that was made of stuffing, and then filled it with turkey and gravy and mashed potatoes and stuff. It looked awesome. So good.
That sounds awesome.
Damn. Well, let me tell you guys, it's after 8:00 here. I'm getting fucking hungry, so I'm going to make dinner. Thank you all for listening. We'll be back later this week. Goodbye.
We love you.